Got a lot of requests for this one. CZ P-10C, the new M&P 2.0 compact, going head to head. That's how we started. Okay, so I have here my favorite steel target system. This is from Tactical AR500 Targets, and this is the ADAP, and this is like the little 2/3 size mini steel target. Incredibly well built. I love it, and I'm trying for the very first time steel target paint. So, you know, if you shoot steel, then obviously you need to repaint your targets, and using regular paint that you pick up at Home Depot or Lowe's or the hardware store can be a little bit of a pain because it doesn't cover very well, and it can also be problematic. This stuff is, and I've never used it yet, I just bought this case. I bought pink because it was on sale, and I'm cheap, but I'm trying it for the very first time. I've heard good things about it, and their website is kind of encouraging. So it's very high solids content. I've been shaking the heck out of it for a couple minutes now, so I think I have done my due diligence there. You do need to shake it up real good, but the idea is it covers really well. So let's get this target repainted. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. That is incredible coverage. And you can see that I've already given it a little too much in a couple areas. Wow. All right, good stuff. Real good stuff. I like that. I did ask these guys to send me a couple of samples, and so they should be sending me some white and some black. And so I'm anxious to try that out as well. I'll let you know how that goes. But I did buy this case. I think I got a good deal on it at $30-some instead of $50-some, basically, because again, it's pink. It was done for promotional purposes, and hey, real men don't mind painting their steel targets pink. Let's get our pink on. I love to do head-to-head comparisons, and judging by views and comments, most of you love to watch them. So do I. Some of them are a no-brainer, such as comparing the CZ P-10C to the new M&P 2.0 compact. They are nearly identical in most every specification. I'm going to show you all those specs from back at the workbench. I'm even going to show you a new specification that I hope is meaningful to you, called the Just an Opinion Grip Index, and we can see how they compare for hand sizes. Meanwhile, I just want to shoot both of these guns again. I haven't shot the CZ in a while. Maybe not since the first 100, so I've been anxious for an excuse to get this guy back out and shoot it, and this is a darn good excuse. So let's start out with the CZ P-10C. Just do a little bit of shooting and remind myself what I like and what I may not like about this pistol. Well, that is definitely one of the things I do like about this pistol. That's a pretty small steel target. In fact, you probably can determine that based on seeing the size of the hits relative to the overall target and the size of the bolts. And it's 10 yards away. Up next, the Smith M&P. Now, one of the questions that I'm not sure I answered on the first 100 look at the M&P is, does the ambidextrous slide stop also function as a slide release for the left-hand person? And the answer is no, it does not. No. So, next time I load up the CZ, I'm going to test that one, and we'll see how it does. M&P 2.0 compact. Good stuff. Okay, back to the CZ. Let's do that same test. They both have an ambidextrous slide stop control. However, that's only meaningful if it's functional. And on the CZ, it most certainly is. So, advantage CZ for the functional ambidextrous slide stop slide release. Man, these are two of the shootiest handguns in the whole wide world. But while we're talking about advantages and disadvantages, back to the M&P now. 17 round magazine with the provided grip sleeve adds capacity to the M&P. That option is currently not available, at least not to my knowledge, for the CZ. Okay. Well, I'm starting to run out of pink downrange. So let me repaint that target with some of this really cool steel target paint that I'm trying out. And we'll come back and shoot some more. When the CZ P-10C first came out, I watched a lot of the initial videos, as did you, I'm sure. And there was the obvious Glock 19 killer talk, which, I mentioned that phrase in my initial video for the M&P 9 compact, and people went crazy over it. So it definitely brings people out on both sides of the argument quick when you start wanting to compare guns to the Glock of any kind, but the Glock 19 especially. And you can't help but draw those comparisons because both of these pistols are very Glock 19 sized, and Glock 19 is so popular, so well known that it kind of provides for a standard point of reference, if you will. So that's really why I mentioned it. I know a lot of people mention it for, reasons of their own, but really, relax, people. That's really why it's mentioned. If we're comparing a sports car to a Porsche 911, it doesn't necessarily mean we think it's better or not as good as the Porsche 911. It means we think that it is comparable in many ways, and it makes a good basis for comparison. Okay? So, back to the P-10C. When this thing first came out, there was a lot of talk about how magic the trigger was. It was just as if people discovered, wow, who knew a trigger could even ever be like this? Well, I've shot the Walther PPQ for a long time, and so I did know a trigger could be like that, and I knew that it could be even better than it is on this gun. Having said that, the trigger on this gun is fantastic. So if I tell you that this trigger is extremely good but not the best in the world, don't take that at all to mean that I don't like it. I absolutely love this trigger. And when we get to talking about the M&P trigger, I'll tell you that I love that one too. Both of these guns have done a great job. I'm shooting MagTech ammo, by the way. Just finishing up with it. You saw me shoot both of these guns previously in their respective first hundreds, and you know they are both extremely accurate, capable of excellent groups. What it really is that they make me accurate because they're so easy to shoot well. And that's really the secret. Unless it's absolute garbage, pretty much any gun is capable of shooting better than I can shoot it. I am always the weakest link in that chain. But what does it for me is when a gun is so ergonomic and so comfortable, pointable, all that stuff, shootable, if you will, that it makes me shoot it as well as I possibly can. And that is true for both of these pistols. The trigger on the 2.0 M&P, if you haven't tried it, you owe yourself, because it is much improved over the original M&P line. And I would say it is as good as that P-10. And again, you can see, you know, target hits don't lie. Both of these guns make me look good, and that's not easy. Okay, basic specifications between these two pistols, while very, very close, there are some subtle differences. Of course, they're both 9mm pistols. Barrel length is the first thing where we notice a small difference. Only 20 thousandths, and that is a 20 thousandths longer barrel in the P-10C. Again, insignificant difference. The overall length, published numbers are exactly the same as 7.3 inches for both of these guns. The height is a little advantage to the M&P 2.0, and that is because it's shorter, 4.9 inches measured by me, as opposed to 5.2 inches, which is a published number, and I am able to see those differences when you look at the two pistols. You can see that little bit of difference, but you know, it's a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch, and it can make a difference. The M&P 2.0 is also a little bit lighter at 24 ounces versus 26 ounces. Both of them are polymer gripped, polymer frame pistols, of course. The textures are good on both, but you know, it goes into the fantastic on the M&P. I like this texture a whole lot. I do not feel the need to add any kind of an enhancement, where you can see on the P-10C I have added the Talon rubberized grip because that makes that feel a lot better for me. The sights on both pistols are similar. They are 3-dot configuration, sort of a combat configuration. There are some differences. I kind of prefer the M&P sights better. I like the way the rear sight is recessed a little bit, and also the CZ P-10 has those kind of weird glow-in-the-dark, but not really night sight type sights. There'll be a look at these from the range where you can see what the actual sight picture looks like when shooting. CZ P-10C, here's the sight picture. Okay, M&P 2.0 compact. Here's the sight picture for that. Both striker fired. I'm going to presume that they both consider themselves to be double action only striker fired pistols. The finish for the M&P is Armor Night, and the finish for the CZ is Nitride. Both a very similar type of finish, both very durable. Capacities are 15 rounds each in the standard magazines. So 15 plus 1. And if you have longer magazines that'll be accepted, like you can for the M&P, you can go to 17, etc. But they are even out of the box at 15 each. The published thickness for the CZ P-10C is 1.26 inches. Smith doesn't provide that published number, so I measured it myself and I got 1.3. Again, very similar, maybe 40 or 50 thousandths difference. Trigger reach for the M&P, distance from here to here, 2.625 inches. Same measurement on the CZ, 2.727 inches. And the Just an Opinion grip index, which also considers the thickness in addition to the trigger reach, 2.717 for the Smith, 3.234 for the CZ. So you've got a little bit less finger left over when you get to the trigger for the CZ than you do for the Smith. And the M&P 2.0 compact comes in a little more expensive at $569 MSRP versus $516 for the CZ P-10C. One of the other often published numbers, but in this case not offered, is sight radius. But if you see, if I put the two pistols here together, you can see that if I put front sight dot to front sight dot, CZ P-10C has a slightly longer sight radius, and I'm talking 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little heavier than that. Again, relatively insignificant. You can see their different approach to the trigger guard. The CZ has a very CZ styled squared trigger guard. There's a lot more room in there to get a gloved hand. The M&P is a good quality, lots of room in there trigger guard, but it's shaped a little differently, not quite as spacious out front. The CZ has ambidextrous magazine release. M&P can be reversed, but it's not ambidextrous. Both pistols have ambidextrous slide stop, slide release, although as I demonstrated at the range, this one doesn't really work, this one does. Takedown method for the M&P is the standard M&P takedown method, which is this lever. For the CZ, we have the Glock style, where we take our slide lock, pull down the spring, and then the slide comes off. In both cases, the striker must be discharged or unsprung, whether that means pulling the trigger or whether that means pulling the trigger or using the little decocking lever inside on the M&P, your choice. So there's a lot more to comparing two guns than just you watching me shoot them, although that is a lot of fun, at least for me. So let's go to the workbench where I can really put these two side by side and we can look at some of the real details in comparing them and take a look at the specs. Don't worry, we'll come back and do more shooting. Ruh-roh! Right during a compare, look at that. That was Freedom Munitions, by the way. So the last couple times I have loaded the P-10, when I slam the magazine home, it has been auto-loading with the slide going forward. Something previously attributed to the M&P, although the M&P 2.0 doesn't really do that anymore. So I can shoot both of these guns just about as fast as I want and stay right on target. And again, that's a pretty small target. Okay, let's check the trigger pull for both of these guns. Starting with the M&P, do an average of 3. Okay, the average of 3 is 5 pounds and 13 ounces for the M&P. Now the CZ P-10C. Okay, the average 6.25 ounces for the CZ P-10C. Okay, for those who'd like to know what kind of ammo is being shot, I'm finishing up some MagTech 115 grain ball. Got it on sale, couldn't beat the price, couldn't pass it up. When I'm done with the MagTech, the next magazine actually through the Smith is going to be Freedom Munitions 115 grain ball. Also very good stuff. Got a small target 10 yards away. Let's challenge a little bit with one hand. Low left, that's where I live. All right, same thing with the M&P. And this is now the Freedom Munitions. Let's go one-handed. 10 yards. Hey, thanks for joining me in my head-to-head video comparing the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 Compact to the CZ P-10C, C for compact. Two nearly identical guns, and boy, they are just about equal in every way. I would have a hard time right now picking a favorite, but that's really not the objective. The objective is to hopefully provide a little bit of entertainment, but it's also about giving you information so that if one of these guns might be in your future, you can help decide which one it might be. I will tell you right now, you can't go wrong with either one. Thanks again for watching. See you soon. Hey guys, just another quick word about the target that was featured in today's video. This is from Tactical AR-500 Targets. It is the ADAP miniature, or 2/3 size. It is incredible. This is AR-550 steel. It's 3/8 inch thick and it is just about indestructible. I've been using this target now for about a month or so. Yeah, blah. I've been using this target now for about a month. I absolutely love it. I'm going to talk more about it in detail in a separate video dedicated just to a review of this target. But you should know that they provided this target to me, and in return for which there's a discount code. Hey, so go down into the description below this video. You'll find a discount code and a link that will take you to the Tactical AR-500 Targets website, where you can get 10% off anything you buy. And they have some amazing stuff. I've already got a list going of things I want to buy next.